Committee. Demonstrations are now being staged. In fact, today Gen Z will be staging demonstrations not only in Kenya, in the Kenya's capital, Nairobi, but across all major towns in bid to push you MPs to shoot down the bill in totality. As a member of the Finance Committee, is it possible to have, because even Azimio, a coalition you are in, says there is need to withdraw this bill, or else you'll vote against it. Weigh in on this.
So, as a member of Finance and National Planning Committee, sometimes I tend to be indifferent because I participated in the amendment of the Finance Bill 2024. But what I want to tell the public, there's no way the government can finance the development of this country without a finance bill. Whether we reject this, the finance bill will be there. The finance bill for 2023, though it was not a good finance bill because of some clauses in that particular finance bill, it will still be operational. It will deem to have been passed when we reject the current, this proposal, the Finance Bill 2024. If we reject the Finance Bill for 2024, then the Finance Bill for 2023 will still be in operation. It is deemed to continue being the Finance Bill. As a member of the committee, we made a lot of amendments. What was contentious, what was raised by the members of the public. And I want to appreciate the Constitution of Kenya 2010 because it empowered the citizens of Kenya to participate in decision making, to participate in the policies of government. This finance bill, right from 2023, I have participated in two finance bills, the one for 2023-2024 and now the one for 2024-2025. Public has participated. All the stakeholders made their presentation. And we've heard what the stakeholders were complaining of. And some of the amendments, the committee has already accepted their recommendation. And that is what was presented in State House. I saw my chairman presenting our recommendations. So before these recommendations, our amendments, the report was presented to the House. So basically, those amendments by the committee will cost this government more than 100 billion. And on how to recover this 100 billion, it is upon the executive to find a way of bridging this fiscal deficit. Well, because what they have introduced, they have increased their IDF. The IDF that is the from 1.5 to 2.5. The other one, RB Road Development Levy from 2.5 to 3.5. That will give us around 38 billion. But I saw somewhere another clause where they have increased fuel levy to cover that particular deficit. But unfortunately, a fuel levy will not go into consolidated fund to finance this budget. That is a separate fund, a special fund for road maintenance, road development, KRB, Kenya Roads Board. Kenya Roads Board. The only way to increase levy in this country is through amendments of probably Kenya Roads Board Act to increase the levy from 18 to 25, but it will not come through the Finance Bill 2024.
Zach, you had actually highlighted on this. Now that they have removed taxes with this hand, there's a possibility they're sneaking others with this other hand. And yesterday during the debate, it emerged, that is according to the ODM chair, John Mbadi, who is now a nominated member of parliament, that there is a clause that has now been sneaked back. And perhaps that's why we're still seeing the demonstrations that are ongoing. You'll also be giving your view on that. On the increase from 18 shillings to 25 shillings, the road maintenance levy. That means the fuel prices will hike.
Yes.
And it will have a detrimental effects, of course, to other sectors of the economy. Is this right? Are you maintaining that it was a decoy to have, 16% VAT on bread, then drop it, so that it's more of a gimmick?
Brother, it is. It is. I will say yes, I maintain it is a decoy and it is a gimmick to fool the public. Let me pick from where he has said, and I like the fact that he has mentioned something very important that our people seems to be ignoring, especially MPs. And more importantly, MPs from Mount Kenya. God must visit that region and redeem it. Because the debate at the House reeks ignorance from MPs from Mount Kenya. When the other regions are producing facts upon why they are voting amendments or not, our region, only the Spirit of the Lord can redeem it. Now, let me put it this way. If you increase fuel from 18% to 25%, that money, as he says, goes to KRB Special Fund, Kenya Roads Board. So that money is not supposed to be used with anything outside improvement of infrastructure. So that money cannot go anywhere else except 10% of CS Fund, goes to Kera, goes to Kura, and goes to Kenha. So this money will never go into consolidated fund. Why do they want to insist? Because over the last 1.5 years, the government of William Samoei Ruto has been appropriating fund from KRB to fund extra infrastructure projects, which is illegal. You get my point? The government of William Samoei Ruto has been appropriating another special fund called Sports and Arts Fund, which is also ring-fenced money that is collected from casino.
Affordable housing.
Yes, I'll come there too, which is also collected from other things, then using this money to take it somewhere else. And this is my problem, and with all due respect, I'll mention a man from his region. This is why you see a member of parliament from Kapseret with bundles of money that cannot be explained. Yet, he cannot be taxed on anything because some of this money is appropriated through the back door because it is not in the consolidated fund.
So you feel that even the move to now increase the road maintenance levy,
yes,
it's meant for a few individuals to benefit? Because
my
even
brother,
the Transport Cabinet Secretary Chumba Murkomen was in Parliament before the Finance Committee, and he argued that there is need to have this money in order to at least repair roads, maintain roads.
Then what he should do is simple. These members of parliament are here. He can ask them to amend that KRB Act. Easy. Very easy. Go to people. The people who gave you this job through delegated responsibility through the president. Go to them, and they are represented by these two gentlemen. So what I'm saying, as I sit ground, is this. Increasing taxation on areas that are fishy gives some of these people a chance to misappropriate money that is not in the consolidated fund. So, one, it is not going to be easy for the government to spend money that is ring-fenced for certain projects on other projects. But this is what they want to do. And I'll be here with you again. Increasing 7 shillings will wreck the economy. You remember 2023 bill was about 2 issues. One was about housing levy. And the other one was VAT on fuel. Now, if you bring 7 shillings over and above what we are paying now, isn't that also an increase of fuel? So we are going back to the same mess. Housing levy, why Kenyans are demonstrating, and I support them. So to begin my disclosure, I am supporting the Generation Z who are voicing their concern. And I would want them to go to every part of the country because when they speak these things, they are giving out their views about how they think they should be managed. These are not our mothers, by the way. Our mothers would accept the way they are managed. In our days, even seeing an MP, my mother seeing an MP would run away. Not in these days. Well, these days, people interact with MPs directly.
Let's
so
this from
housing levy. Let me put a housing levy, then I come to you. This housing levy, where is it? They collected 63 billion.
They've invested it in the...
That is an illegal act.
Bonds.
That is an illegal act that the government should be sued upon. Because this money was not supposed to be invested. It was supposed to be absorbed to build houses. So this fuel money too should lead to absolute suing of William Ruto government.
Honorable Kirwa, you get an opportunity to sit down with the president during parliamentary group meetings. Are these some of the issues you get to raise? Also, on the sneaking back of these contentious, on now controversial clauses that are supposed to be ring-fenced, and the allegations that Mheshimiwa has made here.
Jaja, I think what we need to do is to stick to what it is actually. We're discussing this issue of the finance bill. And is this finance bill really going to pass? And is it going to help the people of Kenya? Is it going to help the economy? Is it going to make changes? And the answer is yes. And one thing we really need to appreciate is the leadership of His Excellency. One, you saw he stood yesterday and he said, you know, in this country, everybody has freedom to, you know, if you want to picket, if you want to demonstrate, you have the freedom. And he's giving the freedom to the Kenyans. Two, everybody has a right to go through this particular bill and give your suggestion on amendments. And exactly during the public participation, which actually a lot of Kenyans came and submitted their oral submission of, okay, I would like this to be changed, I would like to be changed. And when the committee sat down, they looked at the merits of it and they said, okay, surely, people are saying this bread is very stable to most of the families, increasing 16%.
But that is a decoy.
No, not a decoy.
It's just a smoke screen.
You see, did we listen to the people or we did not? We listened to the people and we said 16% is too much, so we removed it. They said the issue of the cooking oil.
Perhaps the concern is here. We have the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics that usually has these statistics of what is being consumed here and there.
Correct.
If at all, then we have competent advisors, economic advisors. Why not, in the first place, even not bring forth such a proposal?
Yeah.
No, these proposals were there. This, the presidential economic advisors are there. They reviewed this. In fact, it came from...
Do you believe this document is from our own advisors and National Treasury?
Not only
or
advisors.
It's from the IMF, World Bank?
No, those are, you know, the World Bank can just give a suggestion. The executive can give a suggestion, but the ultimate people who are going to sit down is the Committee of Finance, who are able to look through and say, okay, is this good for the Kenyans or is this not good for the Kenyans? And when they sat down and they went through, I want to appreciate that committee because what they went through to come up with this and listen to all the Kenyans, and you can see now all the hot contentions has been sorted out.
Hang in there, I'll be getting back to you shortly. Let's now rope in a very key guest. That is the Law Society of Kenya President Faith Odhiambo. Good morning, Faith. You participated in the public, of course, participation on the Finance Bill 2024, and the report is out. First of all, what's your reaction to it? At the same time, the Gen Z will be today demonstrating against what they consider as punitive taxation. On Tuesday, you warned the police against, you know, using force on them, factoring in they were peaceful. Weighing on this. We'll be getting back to Faith Odhiambo shortly. And now to Honorable Rico.
I would want to question of whether this budget is ours or is an imposed one. The question I would want to ask the two, is it true members of United Nations Congress were in Parliament yesterday, the day before yesterday? Is it true? If they answer the question, then they can tell us whether they think we are any longer free. And my contention has always been, and I've said this, this budget is not our own generated budget. This is a Bretton Woods budget. Bretton Woods institution budget. And I've said this with clear mind that His Excellency the President may not be able to accept this. But even his economic advisors are alumni of this Bretton Woods institution. All of them, from Central Bank Governor to his chief economic advisor, these are people who are children and are loyalists of IMF.
I want to disagree with Zach here. We had members of Congress yesterday. I was in that meeting personally. We had lunch with them. They went on a tour of the Parliament to see exactly how we do things. And it's pretty much it. You know, when the President went to... No, I am not saying...
I was not aware.
They were there. I was there myself. I went to the meeting. I sat, you may have seen, but I sat in the meeting. And when I sat in that meeting, there was nothing discussed about the IMF issues. There was nothing discussed about...
Intimidation?
No, there's nothing like...
But they said
there was
Speaker's
nothing
Gallery.
like intimidation.
But they said at the Speaker's Gallery.
In the Speaker's Gallery. And we had to observe what was going on.
And what was going on?
The timeliness, Mheshimiwa Kiro? Is it not a
Intimidation.
concern?
No. That should not be a concern at all. Because you see, when the president went to state visit to the U.S., you know, which I was also part of, this team. I accompanied him when he went.
You're in the private jet.
And also, so we are trying to actually have this collaboration between the Congress and us, so that we can just exchange. There was nothing fishy about it.
Well,
if it was, I'm hearing from a third party, that's different. But
No,
I
there's
was
nothing
present
fishy.
in the meeting
There was
myself.
nothing fishy. What we are saying
there was no intimidation.
is they came to carry the
Message of the
message
levy.
of the message of the World Bank and IMF to ensure that
The conditions.
our slaves are doing what is right.
No, that is very wrong.
the flow,
Zach, you know better than that, and I think even Dr. Rico knows better than that. There is nothing that happened. There is nothing that was fishy. They just came as of friends. We are building that relationship between the U.S. and Kenya.
Well, we now have Faith Odhiambo, who's the President Law Society of Kenya. Good morning, Faith. You actually participated during the public participation period on the Finance Bill 2024, and the report is out. As LSK, what's your reaction? And also on Gen Z's protests. On Tuesday, you came out strongly to defend them. Today, they will also be participating. In fact, not only in Nairobi, but in all major towns in the country. What's your clarion call to the police?
First of all, yes, we participated and we submitted our views. I've noted that only a few things based on our submission were removed. A majority are still there, and as LSK, we're going to review and take appropriate action. With regard to what happened, the clarion call and the advocates, the young members of Kenya who are out in the streets, our clarion call just to the police is allow people to express themselves, right to picket, right to protest is constitutionally enshrined. Allow people without engaging in fighting battles, because that's when the chaos erupts. As long as people are allowed, when they are peaceful, to just express themselves, I do not see any problem. As long as there's no instruction of the peace, they should be allowed to express themselves within reasonable ambit. I don't think there's need for force, the kind of scenes that we have seen, and further that they should allow due process, that when advocates come to ensure that people get bail or bond, they should also treat people with respect and allow due process to follow. I do not think that the law sees it. And actually, the law does not cease merely because people have gone to the streets. All persons, if they believe they are accused persons, should be charged and they should be allowed bail or bond. If even there is bail for murder, there should be no particular crime or purported crime that should not be bailable.
There are still uncertainties of whether arrests will also be conducted today. But if at all that happens, to those protesters who are out there, what should they do?
What we just ask the protesters is to just, express themselves, but they should refrain from engaging in any distraction or destroying any private property. I think also as a nation, we are able to engage in peaceful protest. As the Law Society, our members have engaged before in peaceful protest without harming or destroying any private property. So my clarion call to the young members of our country who will be out there today is that just go out to the streets, protest, but do it in a peaceful manner. Do not destroy any property.
Finally, Faith, there is a bill that has been tabled by the Mbeere North Member of Parliament, Honorable Geoffrey Ruku, on imposing 100,000 fine or a year jail term if at all protesters engage without a valid permit. And, on how to serve the police, is there a specific way that needs to happen? Should it be in paper, WhatsApp, email? Weigh in on that.
I think the Member of Parliament needs to first confer with the Constitution and look if his purported bill is trying to stem down the rights enshrined in the Constitution. So as LSK will be tabling our comments on the same, But our position is that the bill proposed by that member of parliament is unconstitutional. Our legislation cannot limit constitutional rights.
Thank you so much, Faith Odhiambo. She is the President Law Society of Kenya, who has created time to be with us this morning via the phone link. And now to Honorable Dr. Rico. First of all, now that you actually interacted with the Finance Bill 2024, do you believe it's from the National Treasury and not the Bretton Woods institution like IMF? And also their presence in Parliament yesterday while the bill was being debated.
Chacha, I was worried when the PS Treasury and one of the directors, commissioners of KRA failed to answer some questions pertaining this finance bill. The PS could not explain on the issues of the motor vehicle circulation tax, and he started fumbling on who introduced this particular tax to the finance bill. So I started questioning, is it really from National Treasury, or is it from State House, or was it imported from those Bretton Woods? So there's a question mark there.
So there's a possibility this finance bill did not originate from...
Yeah, because of some, if you are the one who developed a certain document, you'll be able to
have
explain
a better understanding
why you introduce such a tax measure. Yeah.
Is this not putting now President William Ruto at loggerheads with institutions?
Which institutions?
IMF, World Bank, which has been pushing for the government to grow revenue and reduce the budget deficit. In fact, the president categorically stated that we are now at around 14%. We need to be at 22% by 2027. Is he under pressure also from other forces?
Yeah, it can be under pressure, but now the document falls now within the purview of Parliament. It is upon Parliament to decide on the fate of this finance bill. Not
on behalf of the people.
On behalf of the people.
On the road maintenance levy,
yeah,
that is now being introduced, a hike by around 7 shillings. After the public participation, the CS Transport Cabinet, that is a Transport CS, Kipchumba Murkomen, appeared before your committee. And he explained the reasons. Do you feel they were adequate enough? And also, will these monies go to the special kitty that has been reinvested or to the CFS?
The funds will go to a special fund account at Kenya Roads Board. Let me just tell you that, tell the members of the public that the CS Murkomen, all institutions in this republic have a right to come and make a presentation to the Finance and National Planning Committee. And that's what CS Murkomen did. CS Murkomen made a presentation, a proposal. It is not something that was there in the finance bill for 2024. It wasn't there. It's just a proposal that they want to present to Parliament come July or come August. It is not a document of the finance bill 2024. So this document contains the presentation by all stakeholders, including CS Murkomen. That's why you can find that particular clause in this report. So it is not a subject of Finance Bill 2024. That's what I want to tell the public. It is his proposal because it has taken long for this fuel levy to be revised. Since 2017, the last time this was revised in 2017, and I made personally a proposal to the CS because when you increase the fuel levy by some amount, the public will always feel that. But when you put a percentage to the price of fuel, you will not feel it.
Well,
you will not feel it.
At that point,
that was my proposal.
Yet another short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be actually, allow me out of time completely. Let's take this short commercial break. When we come back, I'll be reviewing, of course, some feedback from Kenyans and as well more sentiments from my guests in studio. We'll be right back. Stay right there.
Joe Jefferson, a boy from the ordinary world, Earth, has been summoned to Muddle Earth, a medieval fantasy world. Full of monsters,